So let me show you this. This is a surgical strike. I don't know who lived in this particular place. This is what you do when you're trying to get one guy. You're not trying to detonate the whole building. You're getting one guy. That's how precise Israel's attack was. They didn't have the pager munitions, but they had deep intelligence on where every single person was. They took out the head of the nuclear program. They took out the head of their expeditionary force, the Republican Guards. And they attacked as many missile and drone launch sites as possible. Now, I'm sure they didn't get it all, but in one evening, a sneak attack to take out the chain of command. How do you go for a reply volley when all the deciders are gone? It would be like in an org chart, getting rid of the CEO, all the vice presidents, all the managing directors, all the department heads. You're left with soldiers, but who makes the decision and what is the decision? It's just an incredible thing. Now, there's some videos that the Israelis have released, and there's one that shows different aircraft. They did use jet aircraft, they used drones, they used forward placed drones. They're interesting to look at. That might be it there. Oh, that's a jet being refueled. I understand that might be over Syria, but there is quite something to, like the refueling jets. That's how Israeli jets get from their air base in Israel all the way 1,500 kilometers away to Iran. But the fact that they felt confident enough to have a slow-moving refueling jet flying like that shows that they would have wiped out Iran's air defenses. Now, that's not to say that there's no counterattack coming, but it's going to be so utterly degraded, it'll be like Hezbollah in Lebanon. Speaking of which, show that. There's another apartment there. Just show that apartment right there. Yeah, I think that's a good one to show. And let me read the tweet behind it too. This is how precise Israel's intelligence and execution is. Pinpointed attack, eliminating the head of the IRGC, that's the Republican Guard Corps, directly in his apartment, nearly 2,000 kilometers away from Israel. So that's where the boss of the Republican Guard, now Republican Guard is considered a terrorist group in Canada and many other countries. He was living up there. They didn't detonate the whole place. In fact, the lights are still on, on the same floor on the other side of the elevator shaft. That's how they did it. So the timing must have been absolutely perfect, because if one attack happened an hour before another, they would not. It's just a remarkable act of intelligence and planning and coordination and logistics. And I would say mainly intelligence, to know where these people are, to know how they would operate. Show more images as we go, even of the burning facilities, because to target these underground bunkers and factories, to know where they are, to know the best way in, to have people on the ground. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say, and I don't know if I'm effective at saying it, is that I believe Iran went from a regional power that sought to be a regional superpower, that had terrified its neighbors for a generation, that had significant success in building a missile system and a nuclear system. It went from that to being utterly degraded militarily, to have the chain of command decapitated in one night. Now, I haven't checked to see what the reaction has been. Have they been able to muster some drones and fire back? I know that in Israel, the whole country was put under a lockdown. They shut down the airport in Tel Aviv. They sent everyone an alert on their cell phone telling them to stay in their, put that one on the screen, to stay in their bomb shelter. Every Israeli apartment has a these are scenes from Iran, of course, has either a bomb shelter or a safe room that's sealed in case there's an attack with gas. So Israel is under a self-declared lockdown. Yeah, show that one too. Just what the pinpoint nature of it shows, I think, the difference between how Israel fights and how Iran fights. I remember a few months ago when Iran fired a volley of rockets and missiles at Israel. They mainly missed. One of the Hezbollah rockets, I think it was, killed a group of Druze Arab children. Like when Iran fires things, they're not hyper-precise missiles like Israel does. But Israel managed to take out individual people or individual sites. Just incredible. And what's my point? Yeah, show that picture there. Just as a collage of this is how do you take out the senior management of a country's military? Well, I saw some pundit who compared this to the scene in The Godfather, where Michael Corleone ordered the simultaneous assassination of the heads of the 5 families. And it was actually a very dramatic scene in The Godfather, for those of you who know that movie. He's basically ordered a hit against the capo di tutti i capi of all his rival families. That's what Israel did last night. And in fact, the chief negotiator who was dealing with the American negotiators, he was one of the ones eliminated. So I don't think they took out Khamenei, the actual religious boss of Iran, but they pretty much took out the entire military personnel underneath them. Why do I say this is the most important strategic development in a generation? Well, I think you can figure it out by now. Iran's nuclear program is devastated, most likely forever. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, says it will be destroyed forever and they'll never let Iran get it. I think Iran's conventional weapons have been flattened as well. The surface-to-air missiles, as far as we know, none of them shot down any Israeli jets. I understand that hundreds of Israeli jets were used, F-16s and F-15s, and the new F-35 Lightnings. To do that operation and not suffer any flights being down, at least not that I've heard of, is remarkable. So Iran now is vulnerable. It has no air defense. It has no proxies in Syria or Lebanon that can shoot back for it. The Houthis are still around in Yemen, I guess, and they might lob some missiles. But it's not the absolutely terrifying ring around Israel that there was a few months ago. Interestingly, put Donald Trump's latest comment. Trump actually said, I hope we can continue our negotiation. Like in a way, it's an absolutely startling thing to say. Yeah, put that up, pump that up big, and I'll do my best to read it. So I'll read it verbatim when I get it, but he basically said, hey guys, I told you to negotiate, you didn't listen to me, let's give it a shot. I'll read it verbatim when you find it. But I think he means it, but with Trump there's always an enormously entertaining wit behind it. Like they were just flattened. Literally the guy who was leading the negotiations opposite your guy is gone. I think that's Trump's way of saying, well, that was Israel who hit you. I'm still interested in a deal. Let me see if I can find it here. You keep looking for it. There's a Twitter account that reposts all his Truth Social stuff. All right, find it. Put it up when you find it. So Trump is still saying, "Oh yeah, I told you so. Told you, it wouldn't do well." I think Trump is claiming a little bit more. Oh, yeah, that's the one. So this is This was posted this morning at 7:30 a.m. He said, 2 months ago, I gave Iran a 60-day ultimatum to make a deal. They should have done it. Today is day 61. I told them what to do, but they just couldn't get there. Now they have, perhaps, a second chance. That is cheeky. I mean, there's other statements made by different officials that are suggesting that Israel is nowhere near done, that they're going to go in and root out a lot of the long-feared military and terrorist infrastructure, just like they did in Lebanon with Hezbollah. So when Israel took out the thousands of Hezbollah operatives with those pagers, they didn't just leave it there. When Hezbollah was stunned and reeling and decapitated, Israel then sent in a lot of special forces to destroy actual missiles, actual tunnels, actual bunkers. They did the same thing in Syria when Bashar Assad fled and there was this void. Israel knew where the missile factories were, and they went in with special forces on the ground to destroy them. I suspect that's happening right now in Iran as well. So yes, there's the shock and awe missiles and bunker busters that are on TV, but I am quite sure that if Israel is as serious as I think they are, as they obviously are, that they are taking this opportunity when Iran is confused and leaderless militarily to go in and clean up things, boots on the ground. In fact, last night, as I mentioned, Israel sort of boasted. See if you can find that. I'll read this truth post from Trump, but as soon as that's done, see if you can find the footage that Israel released of their people on the ground in Iran, which is an interesting thing to do. First of all, it makes Iranian leaders paranoid. Who's on the ground and where? Let me read one more Truth Social. He said, I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told. That the United States makes the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world by far. And that Israel has a lot of it, with much more to come. And they know how to use it. Certain Iranian hardliners spoke bravely, but they didn't know what was about to happen. They are all dead now, and it will only get worse. There has already been great death and destruction, but there is still time to make this slaughter, with the next already planned attacks being even more brutal, come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left, and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it is too late. God bless you all. I think he put that out last night, if I recall. Again, astonishing. And it is true. Those American weapons are absolutely critical. I don't think Israel has the ability to make bunker busters on their own. The F-35 jet is an American jet. I'm sure other technology is American too. And by the way, Trump used similar language with Vladimir Putin about a month ago about, Putin should come to the table or shocking and surprising things will happen. And that was before Ukraine sent those drones to detonate Russian strategic bombers from within Russia. That's sort of the same tactic that Israel used here. Here's an image. This is a little video clip that Israel released. It's night footage of what Israel says were their special operators on the ground. You can see that one guy has what looks like night vision goggles on. That other person looks, I don't know, like a Bedouin or something. I don't know what they would be called in Iran. This was purportedly people pre-positioned in advance in Iran near the sites, launching the attacks from within their own country. And again, I say, I would imagine the purpose of Israel releasing that footage would be to cause paranoia and distrust within Iran. Who are these people on the ground? Where are they?